Hey everybody, for this assignment it's going to be your turn to try SPSS out more or less by yourself. Now, if you haven't already done some of these things in Module 1, you need to go back and do them before you try to do this, okay? So you should have by now watched this two-part series called Psychology as a Science. She blinded me with science. You should have watched the setting up the HPU cloud system for SPSS, because you're about to, this assignment is having you do SPSS. So if you haven't done that, you need to do that. And you should have watched the three-part series called the sneak previews, the three-part sneak previews. Okay. Now, in the third episode of the sneak preview, I showed you how to use SPSS for the first time to make a bar graph and to do the independent samples t-test that I discussed in that in that series in the sneak preview about the meditation and pain. Okay, and so again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go back and do all of those things before trying to do this assignment. Okay, so anyway, now you've got all that in your utility belt, so you can continue. All right, so in this brief video, I'm going to just get you started, and I'm expecting that you are going to be able to make a bar graph and do an independent samples t-test pretty much exactly like is demonstrated in part 3 of the sneak preview, in which, and you should have opened up SPSS like I instructed you there and done it alongside with me. And if you didn't actually do that, go actually do that. Go actually do that before doing this assignment. Okay, so if you followed all of those instructions as you should, then please continue with this. All right, so all right, what am I going to do now? I'm going to give you just enough information to get you started. Now, if you haven't already read this assignment, pause this video or quit it and go do that. Okay, the SPSS sneak preview, your turn. Okay, I have a few paragraphs there explaining what this assignment is, so go do that before proceeding. All right, so if you've done all that, let's continue. All right, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to get you started using Windows this time. All right. So in the sneak preview part 3, when I did the SPSS preview, I was using my my Macintosh computer, and we opened up a Windows window. Okay, so I'm actually gonna. This gets complicated here. So let me jump over there and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, I have a virtual window open right now. I'm running Windows on my Mac. Okay, so I'm hoping to show you pretty much. For most of you, I'm guessing that you're using a Windows PC. Okay, and if you use a Mac, then my sneak preview should be a little bit more familiar to you because I did that on my Mac. Okay, long story. So here's enough to get you started here. Okay, so I'm in a Windows PC, perhaps similar to yours, and I'm in Windows 7. Okay, so by now you should have set up on the computer that I hope you're using right now the HPU Cloud Services. And on this computer, it's showing up at the very bottom here under a folder called VMware. And so I'm going to start up the VMware View client. And hopefully it looks more or less like this on your system as well. That's why I'm showing you here. Okay, so I want to connect to this cloud.hpu.edu. That's the system I want to connect to. So I do that, and it prompts me for my username and password. And the domain is HPU, and so I'm going to log in. And I'll be quicker. Okay, now this is new, so we now have Windows 8 as an option, and I assume if I'm seeing this, then so are you. And so just for consistency's sake, I'm going to stick with Windows 7. And now this is where it gets kind of funny. On my iMac, I'm running Windows, and now I've just opened another virtual Windows. Okay, so I've got two versions of Windows running, one on top, one within another virtual one. While we're waiting here, I'm going to point out something else that I just have noticed. In that other preview that you watched now, I talk about how you can't connect a thumb drive to this cloud system when you're off campus. And it appears like they've maybe made changed that and have a solution for that now, because I see this little panel up here in the top here when I'm now in the cloud, and it says connect USB device. But here's the problem: if I plug in, if I plug in my USB into a USB port, it shows up here, and I click it to set it up, and it kind of seems to be going through the motions, but I couldn't get it to actually work. And I didn't try for a real long time, but I did try and I was patient, and I waited probably, I don't know, I was trying for about 15 or 20 minutes, and disconnected it. I tried it several times, and it doesn't work. I couldn't get it to work for me. So good luck. I hope it works for you. We should contact the help desk to find out for sure if this is now a feature that's indeed available, but it appears to be, but I can't get it to work. Okay, so you may or may not be able to connect a USB drive and get your files to and from your thumb drive, but I can't. Okay, and I don't need to for what I'm about to show you anyway. Okay, so here we are. I got Windows inside of Windows inside of my iMac going here, all right? And hopefully this looks just a bit like yours, okay? So the file that I want you to use for this assignment is the computer survey data experiment file that I talk about in the second part of She Blinded Me with Science, all right? So just to refresh your memory real quick, we had two groups of participants read a story to imagine that they were going to consider buying an Apple laptop. And there were two different little scenarios that they read, and the dependent variable in the experiment was how likely are you to buy the computer on a scale of 0 to 100%. Okay, so hopefully that sounds familiar, and again, if it doesn't, go look at the part 2 of the snake preview of the She Blinded Me with Science episode. Sorry. Okay, so I want you to use the actual data that I displayed there and used as an example. Okay, so it's very much like the meditation and pain example. The format of the study is identical, and so if you've done that first assignment where I had you follow along with me using SPSS, this should hopefully go smoothly. Okay, so anyway, if you go to computer. Go to the teachers folder and go to Brian Metcalf folder, and just like we did that other time, go to the SPSS files. Okay, so last time you were using this meditation and pain example, all right? This time we're going to use the computer sale data file. Now don't double click that, all right? So just like we did last time, I want you to right-click that file and select Copy. We're going to move it to another location, or copy it to our own location. Double-click on the folder with your name and go to My Documents. And last time I told you, I suggested that you create a folder called Sci 2100. If you haven't done that, you could do it now. All right. Then go into that, and I also instructed you to create a file called SPSS files. And there are the two files that the one that we used and then the one that we created, okay, for the meditation and pain example. Anyway, while you're in here now, right-click and select Paste, and it will copy that computer sale data file. Okay, you can close that other window. We're done with that. And now you can double click on computer sale, and SPSS will open up. Getting this splash screen is a good thing. It tells you that it's on the way, all right? So be patient. If you don't get that splash screen for kind of a long time, then maybe you didn't quite double click and try double clicking again. I don't know. All right, so here we are. It opened up my data file with all that computer survey data, okay? And so the first file, the first column is the independent variable telling us which group the participant was in. They were either in a condition I called $1,600, where they read about a computer that, a $2,000 computer that wound up being priced at $1,600, or they were in the $1,500 condition where they read about a $2,000 computer that eventually went on, was on sale for $1,500. And then the second column is the percent likelihood to buy the computer. I called it percent, okay? That's the dependent variable. Okay, so now I've gotten you started, and so now what I want you to do is I'm not going to show you all the steps, okay? It's now your turn to do it, okay? I'll show you enough just to get you just barely going here. I want you to go to the Graphs and Chart Builder and build a bar graph. Build a correct bar graph with error bars, those little antennas on top of the skyscrapers, okay? So go build a bar graph, and then go to the Analyze menu and compare means and do an independent samples t-test and fill in that dialog box correctly to conduct the independent samples t-test. Okay, so if you are sitting here watching this going, oh, I have no idea how to do either one of those two things, it'll be a good idea to have open, perhaps as a side window here, my part 3 of the sneak preview, in which I walked you through how to do that with the meditation of pain data example. So maybe it's a good idea to have that open and go through it. I show you step by step how to do it, and this example is set up virtually identically. So if you follow those instructions with this file, and you should be in good shape. When you are all done, you should have an output window with a bar graph and the results of the SPS of the independent samples t-test, and I want you to save that file to this same location, your inside of my documents, your Psych 2100 folder, your Psych and your SPSS files folder. Anyway, right alongside there, I want you to save it. Now, here's the name I want you all to give it the same, more or less the same name. I want you to save the file as your last name. So type your last name, computer sale. Okay, so Metcalf computer sale, and SPSS will automatically add the .spo extension. Okay. So when you're all done, you'll have the raw data file and one called your last name, computer sale, right below it. Okay. Then I want you to get that to Blackboard. Okay. You can open up Blackboard within this cloud, or you could email the file to yourself, or maybe that connect USB device thing is working and you can get it to your thumb drive. One way or another, you be creative, you figure out how to get it into Blackboard and load it in Blackboard let's go back to Blackboard. Inside of that SPSS sneak preview assignment, okay, there's a box there for you to upload the file just like you did for your syllabus quiz and your book preview assignment that you did earlier. So very similarly, you'll upload that file called your last name, computer sale. Okay? If you have any questions, discuss them in the discussions for Module 1. You can go into the discussions for Module 1 or shoot me an email, either one. General questions, I kind of prefer them to be in the discussion so other people can see your question and my answer, okay? So please go there unless you have a very personal question that you want to ask me, okay? But anyway, general questions, go there. If you have tech glitchy problems, remember I'm always chasing you to the help desk. So go ask them if you have complications with the cloud or with Blackboard. Okay, but if you have questions about how to do parts of this assignment, and you have already watched all of those videos that I've been chasing you to, then contact me on the discussion board. Okay? All right. Good luck, and get this assignment in by the deadline that's stated there in that assignment. Okay? So, good luck. Thanks.